What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Kirby's Barbecue YouTube channel. Today, what we're going to be talking about is a topic that everybody has been waiting for, and that is how to know how much food you need to make for your barbecue pop-up event, weekend at the restaurant, catering, whatever the case may be. I'm going to break it down here. Thank you so much for joining and watching the video. Leave a like if you find some value in this video. A comment is always appreciated. And if you want to join the channel and be among the members, join the channel and be among the members. There's lots of perks for joining. I hope to see you in there. All right. So how much food do you need to make? Well, that's going to depend on several different factors. The first one is how long you have been cooking barbecue in that location for that community, and do you have return customers? So let's start from the top. If this is your very first event, you need to be very weary about how much food you make, because honestly, you don't know how much you're going to sell, and I don't know how much you're going to sell. I don't know where you're setting up. I don't know if there's already an event there. I don't know if you're just setting up by yourself on the side of the road and just hoping people stop by. I don't know. So here are some guidelines for you. Okay, first and foremost, I recommend if you're starting to do barbecue pop-up events, farmers markets, things like that, different vendor festivals, I recommend going to those first before you just set up on the side of the road and try to do your own thing. The reason is those events have multiple different vendors, multiple different tents, a lot of things that people are selling, and it's already going to get traffic that you didn't have to pay for or work for. Okay. So while people are there shopping for, quilts or little knickknacks, the things people sell at these type of markets, or fresh fruits or vegetables, if you're at a farmer's market, things like that. While they are shopping for those other things, people who are shopping get hungry. That's why malls put food courts in there, is because when people are walking around shopping, they get hungry. And so if you're one of the only vendors there that's serving food, especially a specialty food like barbecue, you're going to get a lot of business. One of my busiest days ever was at a vendor market in my local community. They were selling all kinds of stuff, but I was one of only two food places there. And obviously, I had the smoker out there. They could smell it. It was great. And pretty much everybody came and ate barbecue after they were done shopping or in the middle of shopping. And so, what I recommend for your first time is going to those events that already are going to have vendors. Typically, they charge you 50 to $100 to get a booth there. Do it; it's worth it. You're going to make 10 times that at those type of events. So, if you're going to be at an event like that, right, then you can afford to make a little bit more food because ideally, if it's a good event, you're going to make your money back. But even still, in your first couple of events, I would stick to doing simple things. I would stick to doing brisket sandwiches and pulled pork sandwiches. I would do brisket sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches, chips, and a Coke. That's it. I wouldn't mess with sides. I wouldn't mess with turkey. I wouldn't mess with ribs and all that other stuff, especially for your first couple of events. You want to gauge the market. You want to be able to get some practice at what you're doing, and you don't want to overdo it and end up not making money on your event. So, what do you need for that? Buns, chips, soda, brisket, pulled pork. That's it. That's it, right? Now, if you're going to set up at one of these events or just on the side of the road by yourself, the quantities of how much food you need to make is going to be a little bit different, right? If you're going to be at one of these events, ask the event coordinator, hey, how many people are we expecting to be at this event? And whatever she says, I want you to cut at least 25% off of that, because they're always very hopeful. So if she says, hey, we're expecting to have 100 people today come to this event, I would probably make enough food for 50. Say 25% of those people that she thinks are going to come aren't going to come. And then another 25% just aren't going to stop and eat your food. They may have already eaten, or they already have plans somewhere, whatever the case may be. So if she says 100 people usually come to this event, I would cook for about 50 people. Okay. Now something is like, oh, well, you'll cook for 50 people. How much is that? How many briskets is that? How many pork butts is that? So on and so forth. You need to use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT a lot. Typically, I would say one brisket ends up being enough for 10 to 12 people if you're doing sliced. But that can vary, because some people are going to order sandwiches. Some people are going to order 2 pounds. Some people are going to order a quarter pound. So that can vary, right? But I would use ChatGPT as a resource for you. I literally, what I do is I'll go in and I'll punch in. I'll say, okay, I've got a catering for 75 people. I'm serving brisket, ribs, turkey, coleslaw, and baked beans. How much of all of these things do I need to make for 75 people? And then it'll go ahead and tell me exactly how much I need to make. And then if I feel like I need to make some adjustments based on my experience in the restaurant business, I can do that. But I would suggest that you use that as a gauge. Now, if you're setting up in the same location weekend after weekend, eventually you're not going to need ChatGPT because you're going to see, okay, man, I sold all my brisket in 2 hours last Saturday, but I wasted 3 slabs of ribs. Maybe I should not make that many this weekend, right? So you're going to learn week after week on your events how much food you should make. Now, the greatest thing as far as how much food you need to make is caterings, because they typically give you a head count, and that makes it really simple to know how much food you need to make. And if you still can't really figure that out, like I said, use ChatGPT. Okay. But typically the average person eats about half a pound of meat. Obviously, you're going to have children who are going to eat less, and you're going to have big guys like me who are going to eat more. But the average adult is going to eat about half a pound of meat, especially if you have other side items and bread and things like that with it. So use that as a guide, half a pound per person. Use ChatGPT. If you can get catering events with head counts, that's going to be the easiest way to know how much food you need to make. Like I said, if you're going to start going to these different events and stuff, make sure you get with the event coordinator, ask her, hey, how many people are you expecting to come to this event? How many people came last year? Look at the weather. That's another thing. They could say, hey, 1,000 people came through this event last year, and it could have been a beautiful day last year. Look it up. Google it. What was the weather on X date last year? See what the weather was. And it'll be a great day, great sunny day. But then you look on your weather app and it says Saturday is supposed to be raining all day. Well, if there was 1,000 people there last year and it was sunny, it was a great day, but it's going to be raining all day on this event, probably don't want to make food for 1,000, right? Use some common sense. Now, if you're setting up on the side of the road or you're doing a pop-up tent somewhere where it's just going to be you, that's going to be a little bit more tricky at the beginning. I would go on the conservative side of things. If you're first starting, I would probably do one brisket, to be honest. I would probably do one brisket, one pork butt. And I would probably shred all of it. I would probably chop all of it and just do sandwiches like I mentioned. Until you start seeing your business ramping up, don't start making a monster load of food. I went through a stage where we were doing 2 briskets a day, and then we move up to 3 briskets a day as business has gotten bigger. And now we're at a point where it's like, okay, I think we could sell 4 briskets a day if we want to. It doesn't always mean that I choose to do it, because like I said, I look at the weather, I look at events in town, I look at different things and try to decide, okay, is it going to be a good deal? Is it going to be a good deal if I do decide to make 4 briskets, 4 slabs of ribs, how many turkey breasts, so on and so forth. So you're constantly changing and adapting. What I would say is always err on the side of not having enough food. This is for pop-up events. For caterings, you want to make sure you have plenty of food, right? Because they're paying in advance. But when you are taking all the risk and making food before you've made $1, you want to go on the lower side rather than the higher side. Because if you sell out, you're a hero. If you're throwing away a bunch of food, then you feel like crap. So I'd rather be a hero. If you sell out in 2 hours, you sell out in 2 hours. Next time, hey, I can make this amount of money. I can make this amount of briskets and sell out. Or if I want to push the envelope a little bit, make a little bit more money, serve more customers, maybe I throw another extra brisket on there and see how that goes. So hopefully this video helps, guys. You should be getting some more videos this week from me. But with that being said, I will see you next time. Thanks.